Hi you guys, welcome back to the desk corner. Welcome to a new video. In today's video we are going to be doing a watercolor painting, and I have not done watercolor in so long that my glasses had started to collect dust and I had to rinse them out. That's how long it's been since I've actually done a watercolor painting. If you saw a video that I posted about a month or so ago, I took some reference photos while on a little road trip, and I was inspired by a random rooster that I encountered, which I couldn't get a good photo of, so this is not the exact rooster, mind you, that I originally saw, but I decided in September it would be fun to do a rooster artwork, and for some reason they do remind me a bit of autumn. Maybe it's just the colors. So let's go ahead and get right into painting, because I very much miss painting right now. I'm just going to lighten up some of my sketch with a kneaded eraser, and I'm not going to overdo that either because I still want to be able to see all of these details that I have sketched out, and then we will just jump right into it. Since my posting has been a little bit infrequent lately, I thought it would be fun to take the opportunity today to chat and give you guys some updates. So of course I'm starting here with some of my autumn themed drawings. I'm sure if you guys have been subscribed for a while, you know that I like to do seasonal work. Also, I do like to do like Halloween artwork and stuff related to Christmas as well. So you'll be seeing some of that, of course, as we get closer to those seasons if you're new here and you have not been here for a holiday season at the desk corner. So I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about some exciting things. One of those being that I've actually found a new job, and it's kind of one of my dream jobs, where I will be teaching art at a school, well, multiple schools really. The schedule is adjusted in a way that I will be able to time block and have more time for my YouTube channel as well, which is very exciting for me. As you may have noticed, I have not really been super active here on my YouTube channel in the past few months or longer, as life has just been very busy and I am not creating as much artwork as I was back during maybe the pandemic. So that is one thing that I'm excited about, is having a more time-blocked schedule that is set in stone, so that way I can balance things out. And that means that I will be able to be more active here on my YouTube channel. I already mentioned that this rooster is inspired by my trip that I took, which you can watch the video for. That was not too long ago, earlier in the summer. It's crazy to think how fast time goes by though, because it's not really even summer anymore. It's almost fall now. And one of the things I wanted to go over in this video is Study September. So at the beginning of the month, I finished up a challenge, even though I was pretty late on the challenge. It was something that the artist Miranda Watson had compiled, and you can watch that video. It was actually my previous video if you missed it. I also have a whole playlist there linked for other artists who also completed that challenge. So even though I completed the challenge late, it was a 10-hour challenge, I still feel like I learned something from it. Around that same time, I watched the video from Kelsey Rodriguez, a fellow art YouTuber, but her channel is a bit more focused on the business side of, you know, turning art into more of a career, how you can make money from it, including social media, things like that. I'll link her channel down in the description box if you guys haven't heard of her and you're interested. She made a video about Study September, and she compiled a list of prompts or ideas to get you focusing on improving different techniques and technical skills as an artist. I thought this was really interesting, but for me, the month of September has been a bit too busy to do a new prompt every day, or really even to do very much art at all. But I thought that I could still incorporate this into the art that I did do in the month of September. So of course there was the challenge at the beginning of the month, and for that I really focused on keeping a goal in mind of what I wanted to practice while I was doing that challenge. And today, in this painting of a rooster I am also challenging myself to work on my style with watercolor painting and develop loose painting techniques. Now, I still have a lot of details that I added to this rooster, but one issue I've had coming from a colored pencil, graphite, charcoal background to trying to learn watercolor recently is that I tend to want to overwork, and with watercolor, overworking can definitely make the end result look not so good. Versus colored pencil, overworking is not always the biggest deal and usually won't result in too many issues, but with watercolor, since it's transparent and just the nature of the medium, overworking is not great. I've been trying to kick the habit and also develop a looser style of working and practicing those techniques so I could complete artwork a little bit faster, but also so that I could focus more on the essence of what I'm painting rather than all the small details. I'm very detail oriented and not so great at looking at the big picture sometimes. I think that developing this skill really could help me to master that technique with watercolor painting. So I'm a little rusty with this painting because it's been a couple of months since I've even worked on anything watercolor. I mean, to be honest, I haven't worked on very much art at all recently, so it's not just watercolor, but watercolor specifically has been something I have not done in quite a while. I did work with watercolor pencils, but that's kind of different. And those of you guys who use both know what I mean. It's definitely not the same technique that you use with watercolor entirely. Watercolor is also something that I feel like is more relaxing than colored pencil art for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why I feel that way, but I've noticed that when I'm working with watercolor, and sometimes even watercolor pencil as well, it really depends, I feel more relaxed and I am not, focusing quite as hard as I am with something like pencil. So with watercolor, instead of focusing on all of those tiny details, again, I'm focusing more on the big picture. So that is kind of what I am doing in this painting, just practicing looking at the big picture. There's a lot of small feather details here, and I am capturing some of that, but I want it to be more like, color coordinated as a whole, focused on the whole. You guys get the point. And I think that this was a fun project for me to do after coming back from not painting in a while, because I really get to do a lot of different brush techniques here with all of the feathers, and there are definitely a lot more colors than you would think too in this rooster. Boy, am I glad that I saw that rooster when I was on vacation, because I think that roosters remind me a lot of autumn for some reason, and I don't know if I would have thought of doing that by myself either. So I'm not formally doing Study September, as you guys can tell, but sometimes I think that even just taking some of these challenges or prompts and doing what you can out of them, not necessarily doing something for the entire month if your schedule doesn't allow it or if you're having a busy month or something like that, but still maybe looking at what the essence of a prompt or challenge is and trying to apply that to some of your artwork, I think is honestly a good way to go about it too, especially if you are somebody who is a bit busy balancing different things. So I think that I'm going to try and do another piece this month as well that focuses on something that I really want to work on and improve on. I don't necessarily want to do something that I'm always practicing or just create something that I find easy for me, but rather I want to challenge myself a little bit this month. I feel like starting the month off with a challenge just put me in the mood to finish the month with a challenge as well, if that makes sense. So this time I'm practicing loose watercolor techniques and not spending too long on a single art piece and trying to capture the essence without going highly detailed. And I'll have to think a little bit about what I want to practice next time. Of course, keep that a surprise for you guys so that you're still interested. I also want to let you guys know there will be a little bit of a delay before my new schedule and my time block starts where I'm going to have time set aside to work on my YouTube channel. And that's because as I start training at my new job, I'm still going to be working hours at my original job too, so my current job. Therefore, I'm going to be quite busy, but I am going to get another video out this month, hopefully 2, and they're going to be related to Study September and, you know, loosely related, kind of like this one. So expect that, but there's a little bit of a lag here between when I can really start focusing more on the channel again and now. I think I said that backwards, and also I think my cat wants to be let in, so let me take a little break. So at this point, I started to work on the back feathers here, and I really enjoyed this part because they were darker and I wanted to create that contrast between the rest of the feathers. It kind of just blended together a bit, and then those darker feathers in the back, while still creating those kind of crisper lines in between them as well, like the veins of the feather, if that's what you would call it. I don't know what the proper term is. And also, I drew this a little bit too close to the bottom of the paper, so I will go in later off camera and trim the paper because I have one of those paper cutter thingies. What do you call them again? Guillotines. Yeah, that's what it is. And I took off some of the top and of course saved that strip to use for swatching or something in the future. I always save any types of strips or scraps of art paper since it's so expensive, as you guys know. And I think it does look better once I cut that down, trimmed it down, and made it look more even on the page. Now I do want to talk about some of the weaknesses of this artwork as well, since we are focusing on all the technical things in Study September. And so some of the weaknesses that I definitely noticed that I had were blending some of the feathers together a little bit too much, and I need to work on creating impressions of things without fleshing them out too much, if that makes sense with watercolor. Another thing was that I did have a little bit of trouble going outside the lines with some of those details, and when that happened, especially in that whole face area, of course you can wipe it up with a wet paper towel or try and dab off some of the paint, but I do need to work a bit on my brush techniques as well. I'm just using normal round brushes in this video, but I do need to experiment with more brushes as well and develop my techniques a little bit more and see what types of marks I can create with watercolor with different brushes. So that's another thing to keep in mind, and something that I got a little bit excited about after seeing Lindsay's new brush collection, which I was very tempted to buy but haven't bought yet because I can't really splurge on anything at the moment until I at least get started with this new job. So anyways, another struggle I had, and perhaps the biggest weakness actually of this entire piece, now that I think about it, were the feet. I didn't have the patience for all those little details in the feet, and I still wanted this to be loose and not overly detailed as well, but it started to get a little bit blurry. I'm not really sure if they ended up standing out as much as I would like them to, and you guys will see what I mean as I continue to paint. I think that's about all that I have to say for this video, all of the chatty things I wanted to go over, but I do really miss you guys and miss creating videos, so that's why I'm very excited for this new schedule to go into place, since I will have blocked time and that will be so much easier. And honestly, I think that's something that will help me a lot mentally too, is having that block and also knowing that I will have time for my YouTube channel and blocked out time just for creating my own art, which is something that I've been missing out on lately. So you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if some of you guys might have found it a little bit boring. I know that it was very chatty and I'm just working on one artwork and it's not too exciting, but I'm putting this together on a Thursday night after work, so my energy's a little bit zapped. And I just really want to get something out for you guys this week since it has been a while, and something else of course in the month of September, and perhaps if things go well, maybe 2 videos, but since I'm going to be working 2 jobs for 2 weeks, even though my hours might be reduced at my current job, I think it's going to be a little bit tough to get much artwork done, unfortunately, so there will be a lag as I mentioned, and yeah, enjoy me finishing painting this.
And there's my finished rooster, you guys, and let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this painting. I also was looking at my Sennelier color chart and realized that I probably should redo it because when I first did it, I really did not know what I was doing and I had to do a second layer, so you guys never really got to see a nicer version of me doing a swatch chart. So eventually I will probably redo that as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!